Hello and welcome to Let's Reconnect. I'm Jill. I'm going to be leading you in a contemplative sit. Well, actually, I'm going to be doing it myself too, in real time. So we share this mystical moment together, this little pocket of eternity. And we're following a process or a practice called Lectio Divine, which is a 4-stage process of contemplation. And the way it works is that we take a text. So step 1 is read. And I'm going to be reading today from this book, The Christ Letters. I love this book, An Evolutionary Guide Home. It's by Elias and Theanna Lonsdale, if you want to check that out. I'm just going to be reading a few passages from it. Well, not a few passages, a few sentences, just a short passage. And then we reflect. This is the second stage. Stage 2 is meditate, but meditate as in think back to what it actually reminds you of. Are there any things, any connections that you make when you hear that with what you already know, either of scripture or spiritual texts, or just what you know? So it's making mental, cerebral connections. Then step 3 is pray, and by that I mean articulate your thoughts, your questions. What are you asking? We're not talking necessarily to a God outside of ourselves, but it does help in the psychology of the psyche, of spirituality, of our spirituality, to have that dialogue out loud sometimes, because we are discoursing with the inner tutor. And that inner tutor, which is your intuition, that's what it means, inner tutor, inner tuition, will respond to you if you are able to articulate and formulate those questions. Okay? And then finally, step 4, we contemplate. So we take 2 minutes to sit in silence and listen. So we're forgetting what we think we know, and we just allow the unconscious to bring up for us the answers or revelation, wisdom, fresh insight. So how does that sound? Are you ready to join me? Okay. We never came to this earth to fulfill ourselves. We did not even come here to learn the lessons of this world in that simplistic sense we so often tell ourselves. This is neither playground nor schoolroom. Our path of coming here involved a deep desire, a core impulse aligned with a fuller than self place inside, which is the Christ within. I'm going to read it a second time. Just be thinking if anything grabs your attention or stands out for you. We never came to this earth to fulfill ourselves. We did not even come here to learn the lessons of this world in that simplistic sense we so often tell ourselves. This is neither playground nor schoolroom. Our path of coming here involved a deep desire, a core impulse aligned with a fuller than self place inside, which is the Christ within. So for me, the phrase fuller than self, place within, fuller than self, place inside, I think it said, which is the Christ within. That was the phrase that struck me, because I want that fuller than self place. I don't know if, like me, you sometimes feel you've come to the end of yourself and the end of your own resources. But to know there is a fuller place already there within, that makes me want to know that and experience it more fully. So my question is, how do I reconnect with that fuller than self place inside? How was that for you? Were there any revelations, insights that came to you that you would be able to share? If so, please do in the comments. For me, the awareness that the Christ within is quite different perhaps to how I'd previously thought it. It's not some external being or entity that comes from outside of me to dwell within me at my invitation, which is how I was brought up to believe as an evangelical Christian. In that thinking, it's grace that allows that to happen, because in myself I'm not worthy for such a host, but through grace Christ dwells within. But there's always the risk that if I mess up, he'll leave again. And I realise how conditional that model is. Whereas the revelation today is that there is no condition. It's entirely unconditional. In fact, there was never a place in history where it wasn't that way. Christ within is the core of my essential being. It's who I am at the most deepest and real place. Oh, and it's just come to mind now, when I'm being the most real to who I truly am, that's when I'm touching base with Christ. Yeah. So that revelation gives me hope and joy. Hope in that that there is fullness to be found, and it's not a fullness that is only temporary and transient, that I can experience one moment and then it might be elusive, it might leave me. It cannot leave me. There's no separation. There cannot be any separation. It's impossible. And joy. Joy to know that that requirement is lifted. I don't have to do anything or be anything or prove anything. I can just be. It's quite liberating, isn't it? So, thoughts, yes, please do share them on anything that I've said or anything that you'd like to tell me and others reading the comments section about. I will just say thank you for being here, thank you for subscribing, and I need to remember to say this and I forget to say it. Please turn notifications on. That means it's not enough to subscribe. YouTube has this 2-tier system thing that you don't just subscribe. You need to press the little bell at the side of it and tap it twice, I think, to say all notifications, so that the bell has like lines around it. That means that when I upload, you'll get to know, you'll know about it. I am noticing that my videos more recently are getting fewer views, and I don't think that's because people have fallen out with me. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's because you just don't get to know, and so you know, in order to build this lovely community and to get to know each other and reconnect with one another and the divine, because it's one and the same ultimately, then it's only going to work with interaction, and that means I need you to be watching them and not missing any. So please, if you're watching this, check that you are subscribed, but also that your notifications are on, and then it'll be really good. Okay, so till next time, thank you for watching, take care, God bless, and bye for now.